Hey, Stoney here, and this is Mechabellum Tournament. At the bottom here, we have Fazil, but also known as Misum. He's one of the developers of Mechabellum and a fantastic player. And he is playing as a fortified specialist. And he's up against Mechabellum. I love the name, by the way. Playing as a supply specialist. We see Fazil starting with 2 Tarantulas and 3 Marksmen. This is one of my favorite startup compositions because it's just so flexible. You got Chaff Clear, you got Meat Shield, and all you need is just a few crawlers and you have a fantastic board. Our red player, for some reason, took the Mustang Crawler combination. One of the weaker combinations, I think. This one didn't get buffed. I think the Mustang Marksman startup combo actually got buffed, so they buffed the health, the startup health, because the units was just so crap. But I still think Mustang Crawlers are terrible units. Neither of them can sustain a lot of punishment, and neither of them are particularly well are particularly able to do well in the role that they're supposed to be in, right? If you think the Mustangs are going to do chaff clear, well, fat chance. They're actually terrible. And see how long they're taking to kill these crawlers. All right, the spiders are coming in. They're doing work, and yeah, I don't think a red player is ever going to touch these spiders this round. So next round, they're going to have to put down something with a bit of damage. Improved Fire Control System is a great card if you want to use that on a pack of Mustangs. I would take that card on Mustangs every single game. As for the rest of the cards, I'm not too sure, and I think blue probably should just skip, but instead he went extended range tanks. Very curious. He already has the Tarantulas, and extended range sledgehammers is really there for chaff clear. Because with the ER card, you actually reduce the tank's HP by 20%, making them a lot weaker against units like Mustangs. And this card recently had a rework. Before, you simply get a range buff and an HP debuff, but now you're also getting a 20% attack reduction. I used to love to run ER tanks, right? Just put on like a whole row of tanks, mech rage, range them, and they become such giant killers in the later rounds if your opponents are not careful. But right now with the 20% attack reduction, I see it less and less just because they rarely make it past round 5 once your opponent has things like fortresses. So a bit of a curious choice here. And being sledgehammers, they're not the greatest at chaff clear either. So if you're using them for chaff clear, you have to get mech rage. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to figure out what exactly is the reason for these sledgehammers. One reason I could think of is that the sledgehammers are actually very good in stalling a melting point, right? Because the sledgehammer is actually quite tanky, it essentially forces the melting point to charge all the way up to its full charge on its attack before it can kill a sledgehammer. And that usually takes about 3 to 4 seconds. So times that by 5 units of sledgehammers, a melting point would just go through like 15 seconds of shooting at sledgehammers. And the sledgehammers are usually tanky enough to stand up against, you know, heavy chaff clear units like Arclights or Vulcans. Alright, round 3, we are seeing Assault Vulcan being offered. Great card. Assault Fortresses, also great card. But it looks like it's going to be skipped from our red player. I thought I was going to see Assault Fortresses almost guaranteed just because the way the board is set. I mean, Assault Fortress does have one weakness, is because they are going to have problems with melting point because of their reduced range. But when you already have Mustangs, that's not a really bad card. You simply hit the speed button on the tower and you just watch your units ram into your opponent's board. So a bit of a surprise that I didn't take the extra card. And it was going to be a skip as well for our blue player. All right, more tanks gets put down. Is this the round that's going to be mech rage? Nope. It's just for more tanks. So far, we already have a few units that's being leveled on the blue side, and no unit has been leveled yet on the red side, even though these Mustangs are ranged, but they're just not doing enough damage because the Phoenix just keeps stealing their kills. In fact, I think this level 1 Phoenix that was just put down last round was just so close to leveling. Okay. The Tarantula is really carrying the Chaff here because of the Sledgehammer is just so slow with the Chaff. Once the Tarantula is down, you can see just how slow. I don't even think this Sledgehammer is able to clear out these fans before it gets picked up by these Phoenixes, which means these Phoenixes will have free reign over these 2 snipers, and they're going to get a level. On the left-hand side, because they have 2 squads of Sledgehammers, they're actually doing quite well. And I believe next round is going to be the round for Mech Rage on the Sledgehammers. And because they're extended range, they also have the benefit of not shooting too close, right? The one big scare of mine whenever I run Sledgehammers and I want to click Mech Rage before range is that they're just going to run into the opponent's board, actually sometimes running in front of the fangs if I don't put them forward enough. But in this case, I don't think they need to worry about that. Ooh, and it looks like it's going to be another round for Fazil. Nicely played. Unit drop on round 4. Scorpions are excellent if your opponent's going with ER tanks, and they've already put down 4 squads of tanks. Having some Scorpions with range will be excellent. At some point, these tanks are going to level, and they're going to hit Mech Rage and range, and at that point, it might be too late to just have Scorpions on the board. And it looks like it's going to be Scorpion picked for Fazil as well, and it's adding down Stormcallers. I love Stormcallers with tanks. Not only Stormcallers covers the tank's weakness of Chaff Clear, but it also has so much utility, right? In the later rounds, if you have a really big giant with range, hit EM on it and disable the giant, allowing your Sledgehammers to survive a bit longer. If you're faced with overwhelming number of Chaff, hit fire on it, and you will get rid of pretty much all the Chaff, allowing your Sledgehammers to hit the carry units. So a great combination there. The Scorpion is added, is not going to be ranged, and that is going to run into a bit of a problem. I don't agree with the Scorpion pick here for Fazil. I think he could totally sell this and start teching his tanks right away. I think he was just a little apprehensive because of the Scorpions. And that's the reason he didn't hit Mech Rage. Because if he did hit Mech Rage, these tanks will actually walk in front of the crawlers and taking that first shot from the Scorpion. Okay. Alright, the Phoenix are still shooting at Sledgehammers. I was hoping the Phoenix to just reprioritize onto the Scorpion, but it looks like that job is currently being taken by the red player Scorpion. Alright, it's going to be a pretty good round here. Winning on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, though, can he get one more shot off on this level 2 marksman? And the answer is yes, with the tower debuff. And it's going to get another shot here, and it's going to clear out these Stormcallers. Now, speaking of Stormcallers, right now the Mustang. AM device on Mustangs is so strong. It was buffed by about 40% since the last patch. So what that means is in the past, I think one squad of Mustangs could almost defend a full volley from a single squad of Stormcaller. But now with the 40% buff, it can almost do like, what, 1.3 of a Stormcaller? Really, really good stuff. So if the red player wants, it can just drop a few more Mustangs and take AM device. And as I say it, here goes the AM device. And it's the same round Fazil decided to take fire on his Stormcallers. It makes sense, right? He did put oil down last round and he didn't take fire. So it's signaling that something's going to happen in this round. Ooh, this is going to be a little rough because right now the red's board almost perfectly counters the blue board. the AM Mustangs are going to nullify these Stormcallers, and it's unfortunate that they did take a single technology, and he can't, recuperate the technology. The range Scorpions are great against these Sledgehammers, and right now about the only problem for our red players board is Chaff Clear, because now with these Mustangs so busy shooting at missiles, they're actually not shooting at the Squallers, which means the Squallers are going to travel a little bit further. But no, wow, look how great the AM is. So before the last patch, the Mustangs will actually spend the entire time when their rockets in the air. But right now they're spending about half of the time, allowing the other half of the time to actually do Mustang things like shooting at the crawlers. Okay, so the fire was ignited, and with that, all of the Mustang died, and we have a lone Scorpion trying to regain the army's honor here. I mean, I love Scorpion, I just don't think this one is going to do it. Maybe, maybe with the debuff. Let's see if we can get a few more shots in there. Nope, just one more shot. Melting Point would have been my choice for Fazil. Melting Point outranges the Scorpion, and it looks like he has pretty decent Chaff Clear at the moment. So if he can get Melting Point and even more Sledgehammers, he might be in a good spot. Right now, the Sledgehammers are at 165. They are outranging the Scorpion, so they can stay just a little bit longer in the game. And here goes the Melting Point, and he's up against the Fortress. So things are really looking up here for Fazil, because the Melting Point could just take range. Once the Chaff is cleared, it would just start picking off the Scorpions and the Fortresses. Now let's see if this happens. So when you start putting down Melting Point, instead of adding more anti-unit, your mind should move immediately to how do I get more anti-Chaff. Okay, so it's going to be more Chaff this round, but next round there might be anti-Chaff. And I think it's clear, it's a good decision for this round, because so far there has been nothing in front of these Sledgehammers. Red player didn't really take advantage of it by dropping missiles in the last couple of rounds, because if he did drop missiles, that missile is not only going to get these level 1 Sledgehammers, but he's also going to get these Crawlers as well. So having these bangs in front of them is going to prevent that from ever happening. Alright, one Melting Point is already on a Fortress. Very excellent play here. And it looks like there's just a little bit too much Chaff going on from our red player. And now the Scorpions are within the range of these tanks. The Chaff Clear are getting destroyed. And I think the main reason that the last round Blue was able to rain pretty hard on the side is because there was just one squad of Mustangs. Once you have 2 squads of Mustangs against your 2 squads of Stormcallers, yeah, you're not really going to land any missiles. Junior Man and Assault Scorp. Assault Scorp is very tempting. He already has 3 Scorpions that's on the ground. Assault Scorp does reduce your range by about 30. But it increases your attack rate by, what, 30%? So that's a significant increase. But it looks like Red is just going to opt for Shield Airdrop. And I wonder if Fazil... Oh, he's also going to take Shield Airdrop as well. So it's a free shield that comes back once every three rounds. Alright, we're going to have range on the marksman, so they don't get one-shotted by the Scorpion. I mean, they still get one-shot if they're in range, but now they can stand there a little bit longer and fire a few more shots, hopefully killing the Scorpion before they get too close. More Melting Point is added in. I wonder if it's time to start selling these Stormcallers. With 4 squads of Mustangs, unless you get 6 Stormcallers, which is a road that you shouldn't walk down into, because it would just, your opponent would just keep adding Mustangs. And I feel like at the end of the day, having Mustangs left on the field is more valuable than having Stormcallers where your missiles never land. So yeah, I wouldn't go down that route. I would probably start selling these. I would put down even more tanks. Probably getting Mech Rage would be a good idea. Mech Rage does make tanks decent at Chaff clear. Underground gets picked by the opponent. And the purpose of the underground is because when you have so many units, right, that's range, underground actually negates a lot of their initial damage. For example, now these sledgehammers would take 2 shots to kill a crawler that's on the ground. Not too shabby. And here lies the problem. There is just not enough chop clear with the Stormcaller missiles being blocked by the opponent, so that the melting point was never really on target, and by the time it is on target, it's already being targeted by the Scorpion and the Phoenixes. So it's going to be a huge round for our rep player here. Absolute devastation. Ooh, wow. It was a killing blow, and it was a very well played game. I mean, I think the real MVP of the rest board is these AM Mustangs. They are just preventing so much damage, not just the actual damage from the rockets, but also the fire that's on the ground. I mean, once you nullify your opponent's chop clear and you're winning the chop war pretty hard, even if you have units that are being countered by these melting points, like these fortresses and scorpions, you are going to win this fight. So very well played. Thank you for watching. If your break isn't over right this minute, you have to check out this video. I'll see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.